Is Mechabreak really worth your time? Hey, I'm Axel, and you know that I don't really stray away from critiquing the game when I feel like it needs to be critiqued. So, Mechabreak on launch is like if you walked into a restaurant and ordered their steak. And their steak is generally juicy, it's tender, and everything's great until you get a bite of the vegetables and they're just okay, and the potatoes just suck. So at the end of the day, you're sort of forced to give a mixed review. Now, that is where Steam seems to be at this moment for Mechabreak, and I generally agree. I think that this is a really fun game with a lot of problems that needs to be addressed right away. Now, to be fair to the developers, they did manage to pull from a super negative review from the beta into a mixed review right now. However, there are things to be worked on still, and some things that were not addressed from the beta. So strap yourselves in, because today I am going to be going through all of their monetization and also gameplay options for you to really see if the game is worth your time. And man, I just have to be honest, I really don't like doing critique videos like this. I wanted to unabashedly love this game, kind of like how, you know, the new K-pop Demon Hunter movie came out, and that was a really cool success, and the fandom was pretty positive on that. And I wanted this game to be super positive on release. However, there are things that I just cannot ignore and need to make people aware of. And hopefully this will reach people and reach developer ears so that they can address this in the future. Let's get started. Somebody watch B. The Stellaris was A. The Stellaris is here. Stellaris is here. Oh my god. Okay, I'm B. I'm going B. Somebody look at A. I'm going B. I'm going B. I'm going B. No! No, we win, we win, we win. I'm coming to see. Oh god, I ran out of energy. No! No, they got it. Cap. Oh, we got it! Hey, we got it! Wait! No, we still lose! No! Wait, we win! Oh my god! Holy shit, this is tied! We won! We did it! We won! Okay, let's just straight get into it. Let's be real here. 6v6 Verge mode is awesome. It is the prime thing that I recommend to everyone whenever I'm like trying to advertise this game, right? It has the best game loop, the best balance all around, and also it focuses on the key thing you should be doing in this game, having fun with your friends. There's nothing quite like this on the market right now, and I really want Mechabreak to stay around longer than Gundam Evolution. So I really wanted to like sort of shift all my critique towards building longevity for this game. And the first thing to note is that this game is actually pretty free to play friendly. So for 6v6 Verge, no gameplay option is locked behind like a giant paywall or anything. The most strikers are unlocked for free, and whatever gameplay options that you don't get for free, you can always take your time and then do those weekly missions in order to unlock. So nothing is really pay to win in the 6v6 mode, especially because you can actually trial those strikers for about a week in order to use them whenever you're grinding them. And through my experience, I did play with the season pass. It took about 4 hours of not even game time, but just like playing around, not really min-maxing everything, and then doing like 1 or 2 missions in Mechabreak in order to get 15k credits in order to get a new striker. This is including the beginner login bonus and everything as well. So keep that in mind, that you are going to need to spend some time to unlock those strikers, but you can't pay for them right away. And also, they are not all as powerful as they seem, except maybe Stellaris. Seriously, Stellaris is really breaking the game in some areas.
Wait, what the fuck?
Now, the road to getting more gameplay options is pretty good, but what's not awesome is this so-called matchmake mode. You see, it's like a rank mode, but it's not really like a rank mode, but you have to farm all of your red credits and achievements in this mode. So at the end of the day, it's like, well, who is this really for? Is it for casual players? Because if this is for casual players, then the matchmake mode shouldn't be called matchmake mode, and there shouldn't be a rank associated. In fact, there is a casual mode in the game right now that you cannot farm red credits or the mission credits that you need to unlock new strikers with. That casual mode gives you nothing and is filled with bots because nobody is queuing into it. And the other thing is it this for competitive players? If the matchmake mode is for competitive players, then why are there bots in the game in most of the lower levels, up until I think like Grandmasters or something, right? So not only does the bots interfere with competitive integrity, all the casual players are forced to play that mode just because casual mode doesn't give you any rewards. So then the quick fix would be to just, I don't know, give rewards to casual modes. And it's a sin probably in 2025 to have a online multiplayer PvP thing that doesn't allow you to farm mission credits or whatever free-to-play credit in your casual mode. And I don't know who's making these decisions behind the line because it's honestly baffling. I did talk about the whole bots and matchmake mode in my previous beta critique video. However, I think that sort of got buried under the other things, mostly about those strikers behind the paywall. So now that they have fixed that, maybe it's now time to look at the queues for the game, because there's a lot of queues in the game. There's 2 66 queues, there's 6 Mashmax queues, and then 2 more for Ace Arena. And guess what? Nobody's freaking playing Ace Arena. So at the end of the day, I think what I'm really trying to say here is don't let anybody rank flex on you, because you don't know what kind of teams they have fought to get up there at times. And that really sucks, because those people at the top should be confidently able to say that they deserve to be at the top. However, there's a lot of cases where, well, you probably skipped through until Masters or so just playing a lot of bots and AI teams, which isn't healthy for the longevity of the game. And if you really think about it, it is impossible to de-rank in this matchmake rank system, because at the lower ranks you are guaranteed to win a lot more points than you lose per game. You have to have something like a less than 50 or like less than 40% win rate in order to de-rank at the lower levels, which means that new players are always being pushed upwards in order to I don't know, to get them to play harder and harder opponents or bots or etc, etc. And those bots will really mess your days up. But I question, this is only week 2, right? I question what it would be like later down the road when the player population decrease more and more bots are filling it up. Because not only is competitive integrity destroyed by having bots in a ranked system, casual players are always being pushed up, right? So it will be harder for them to complete their weekly challenges that usually involve getting some sort of merits or winning games or like capturing objectives and doing specific things in those games. So the harder stuff that you play, the harder it is for you to complete your challenges. And you're always forced to be in this skill-based matchmaking kind of state. And it's really weird, and I don't know how this is going to play out at the end of the season, because remember, each season is like 3 months. Yeah, and I genuinely want to bring the question back, who is this system really built for? And I think this is really, weird because it's not for casuals, it's not for competitive players, but it kind of works right now just because we're early into the cycle of these things. So all the competitive players have generally already went up the ranks, and all the casual players are still, stuck around like plat or diamond or gold or stuff like that, right? I don't like the system, and I think it's probably the biggest thing about the game that needs changing right now. If they don't fix the queue system, then there is no hope for the game in the future, because the queues are what keeps people playing. The queues and admittedly cosmetics, and we're going to talk about this right now. Okay, so this is the big kicker that pissed a lot of people off on release, and I somewhat agree with some of the negative comments that are out there, because Mechabreak is a game that prides itself on customization, right? Mech customization, pilot customization. These two things are really in depth. If you know anything about Mechabreak, you can customize so much of your character and your mech, and all of the customization in the game have weird systems associated with it. Let's talk about that. Now, I do want to mention that you don't really have to engage with all of the monetization systems that I'm about to mention. You can play the game completely free, just play Verge and maybe some Mashmack to farm paints and stuff like that. You don't have to look at the Facebook marketplace at all, but it is there and is in the back of my mind, always bothering me. So I guess I have to talk about it. But first, let's start off with the $50 skin. I have never paid $50 for a skin in any game, and I don't think I'm gonna start now, especially because the Leone Falcon custom can't be customized. And what I mean by that is, a couple of minutes ago, I told you that Mechabreak really prouds itself on its customization options. And there are a ton of customization options for all the pilots, all the mechs, and even more coming along the way, probably. And Leone Custom sort of breaks all that. It is a stock character and a stock mech. Admittedly, the Falcon Custom does have some really nice animations and colors and executions, stuff like that, but all of that package can't be transferred into any of your own mechs or pilots and has to be used sort of as a set in a way. And I really don't understand why they decided to break the rule of customization in everything with the Falcon Custom. I feel like everybody who bought the skin would have more appreciation for it if they were able to at least repaint some parts of the Falcon. And it's just very strange to me how they went about to do this, because it doesn't feel worth it from a consumer perspective, especially because there are other colors that you can get for free anyways, and you can very easily recreate the gold look of the Falcon Custom if you just find like a golden paint can or something like that. Did I also mention that this Falcon Custom skin package is also limited edition? Yeah, that's not really good feeling. That is the fear of missing out mechanic wrapped in a gold foiled Porkchop that's being shoved in your face every single time you play the game. And I don't know if this is the way to really go about selling these custom skins, but that is what they decided to do. The next part of the monetization that's really bizarre to me is the individualized rotating shop. Now, rotating shops are like a fine idea. They do prey on people's like fear of missing out feelings. However, the rotating shop in Mechabreak is exacerbated because there is an in-game marketplace. And on release, I don't think that many people looked into the system of how everything works, because I did see a lot of scalpers regarding the cosmetics that you can like eventually just find in the rotating shop. And I think this is a really weird system, because not only does it incentivize scalping, it also makes it feel bad for players who can't just buy stuff at the base price and is forced to use the marketplace. And if you ever try to buy any sort of like Gunpla kits, Pokemon cards, or even concert tickets, you would know that scalpers do exist and they do suck. On day one, I saw people scalping the Leone custom Falcon package for double the price of what it is base. And that is insanity, and I hope nobody bought into that thing. But the game's UI UX doesn't make it very clear to you that there are other options of getting cosmetics besides the Facebook Matrix marketplace kind of thing, right? So I feel like a lot of people bought into that idea very early, spend a lot of money, and maybe have a little bit of buyer's remorse from that. And I do feel like the marketplace has a lot of weird and probably bad artificial pricing. Like for example, some of the paint cans that I've seen are usually like 40, Corite, which is yellow premium credits or something like that. But some of the most high quality paints out there, they're being sold for like 29 bucks. 29 bucks for one can of paint that's like purple. That is kind of insanity in any game. And keep in mind, purple I think can only be used once. And especially it doesn't seem right that there is a transaction fee when you make like sales in the marketplace. This feels really off, because why would there be a transaction fee for selling something or even just sending something to your friend through the mail when the game already owns the Corite? Like you've already put real money into the marketplace, so why would they take like a little bit of your Corite like going back to them? Like this isn't real currency, like it's all going to your game, so why do you have to skim off the top off of player purchases? It just that seems a bit scummy to me. And in the marketplace there is something that I think is pretty bad regarding one of the game modes, and that game mode is Mechabreak. If you didn't know, you can buy these weapons from the Matrix marketplace in order to play in Mechabreak. Usually the top ranked weapons are too high of a point cost to bring into normal and hard difficulty, but in extreme difficulty you can buy these like double beam autocannons, double up on them, go in as a killer, and just wreck everybody that comes your way. And that doesn't seem particularly fair at all. So it is like pay to skip a lot of grind, or in true essence, if you are getting weapons that are very powerful out of it, it's pay to win for the extreme difficulty of Mechabreak. And that isn't good for the longevity of the marketplace or the game itself. The basis of any marketplace is trust in the financial system, trust that they won't get screwed over, right? But sellers in the marketplace don't get visibility, and the search function is very basic at best, and only the top bids or the top sales are really visible upon the marketplace right now. So even if you are someone who is trying to get into the marketplace, if you played a lot of Mechabreak and trying to sell your stuff on the marketplace for other people, this marketplace economy might not even survive past the first month or two, just because of how they set it up, and the scalpers already made all their Corite and is running away with it. And that's a shame, because the marketplace could have been like a really good system for players and buyers alike. If you really like set up maybe like an upper limit for how much you can price things, if you set up like a good transaction system that doesn't skim off the top for sellers, or more discoverability for people who are selling stuff and trading stuff, I think it would have been really good, especially for the people who don't have a lot of time to play Mechabreak for those randomly generated paint cans and stuff like that that is decided to do in the game. But right now, it's sort of like, oh, you want a flaming weapon? Well, I'm gonna charge you like double the price. And the people who are buying the flaming weapon are like whales, so they kind of don't care. So other people will look into the system like, hey, I can sell a flaming weapon. Not really, no you can't, because there is no like reliable seller score, there is no discoverability for good suppliers. You kind of just put your stuff on the market and hope it gets picked up by people who are looking for it. And that's not a good marketplace at all. That is that sucks. And the worst part about all this is you don't have to interact with the system at all. You can completely ignore all of this and go about your day and play the game how it's supposed to be, just by, you know, playing with it and don't interacting with the premium currency content. But not everyone can do that. And even for me, who enjoy the Verge mode, who enjoys like normal mode and Mechabreak and stuff like that, can't put it out of their minds when thinking about this game. When you talk about this game, you inevitably have to talk about customization, because customization is endgame, and everybody actually cares about it, even if you claim that you don't at the beginning. And the way that they've set up how to earn your customization is very time consuming. So the marketplace could have been a really, really good place to help those people who with not enough time and too much money on their hands to skip some of that. But with no upper limit on any of this, with the skimming and the transaction fees and stuff like that, I really don't feel like the marketplace is very trustworthy as of now. And I don't recommend you spend any time interacting with that system unless you are the one, like, I don't know, selling or something like that. But even then, you don't get discoverability. So I wouldn't waste your time on the marketplace at all. So the 3v, 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 3v3 modes are pretty decent, but they're just kind of meh compared to the other games that are solely dedicated on things like this, right? Mechabreak is mostly a chill PvE mode with some threats of like violence and death by other players. And because of that, you're always sort of having this urgency in the back of your mind whenever playing that mode. However, if you just pick up like Aquila or Sky Raider or something like that and have a healer, the mode is pretty easy, and if you get good weapons, it becomes even more easy to run through and safely run. Time-wise, I only recommend going for normal Mechabreak in order to just farm those paint cans for customizing your mecha. Go hard if necessary. I wouldn't go extreme because I already explained before. Extreme is where people can use the really broken like tier 5 weapons and stuff like that. You really don't want to interact with that kind of system at all. So hard is the highest that I personally would go in order to farm for, you know, like patterns or skins or stuff like that. I genuinely think that Mechabreak should have been a PvE pure mode, and I was really open for it to be an extraction mode. It is fun if you're playing with a triple stack, like I usually do in my server. However, it's not fun when you're just slogging it through, hoping, praying that you can get a good roll on your paint can. And I'm thankful that they didn't turn some of the very easily exploited mechanics into like gacha and stuff like that. However, I do think that Mechabreak is a time thing, and it's not very worth your time. The game loop is decent, but it's not fun enough to replace other extraction shooters that you might have in your lineup. I really wanted the PvE aspects of Mechabreak to be fleshed out, because I wanted like perk trees, I wanted real progression, I wanted real dungeons and stuff like that in order to fight and be challenged by. So at the end of the day, that's not how it played out. You know, even Overwatch 2 canceled their PvE mode and stuff like that. But I do feel like Mechabreak at the moment is only something to service the marketplace, since its functionality of gaining mods in order to get better things in 6v6 has been removed already. So it's a really self-contained mode that only interacts with itself and the marketplace, which means it's like a farmer's paradise, I guess. It's too bad too, because the enemy designs in Mechabreak are very intriguing. Whoever is making the environments and the enemy designs from Mechabreak is deserving of praise. They have really thought about what it means to have like futuristic setup and what like development trees and military combined arms tactics would look like for like a base of that size. And I really like all the designs of the enemies in Mechabreak. It's just that it's too bad that they don't really pose real challenges most of the time. So is Mechabreak worth your time? I think so, but it's, in my opinion, not as good as the 6v6 Verge mode. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, I have to talk about Ace Arena. Ace Arena in the beginning was a deathmatch mode similar to how Sky City is now. It's like a kill up to 8 people kind of mode, 3v3 with your friends. And that was pretty basic, but it was pretty fun. Now they've introduced good mechanics, such as being able to switch your striker in between rounds, and that is amazing. But they've also added unlimited ammo to some of the drop weapons that you can get from Mechabreak, and they put that in the game. And the drop weapons, the weapon drops, are so much better than the regular weapons that some of the mechs get. And it really turns what is a pretty balanced setup in like a 3v3 mode into an unbalanced mess, because it's mostly about if you can get a really good drop weapon, and if you can secure that and then like keep it, you pretty much win the round. And I don't like that. I don't enjoy that at all, because the 6v6 balance is really good, and the mech balance right now have clear counters and weaknesses. But if you give a hammer to Illuminate with infinite energy, that might work in a PvE environment or the Mechabreak game mode. But in a 3v3 environment, that Illuminate is gonna freaking wreck your face, man. Infinite Warhammer spins. Oh my god, it is freaking brutal. Or infinite auto beam cannon spam, or infinite this, infinite that. At least in Mechabreak there was an ammo restriction, but in Ace Arena, when you get snowballed, you get snowballed. And I think that Ace Arena is not a very good use of your time. I wouldn't recommend it at all in its current state. I would just leave it. And that seems to be the consensus of most people. I don't see a lot of people playing Ace Arena at all. And if you don't see people playing that queue, it makes me wonder, why do we spend all that time sort of developing that? Because the player base is sort of split between a lot of queues right now. And well, not all of them give the same rewards as the others. Ace Arena also has no missions and no rewards really, besides like titles or whatever, associated with it. When you play in Ace Arena and you win, you get absolutely nothing in terms of red credit progression. It is terrible to play this, both because it doesn't give you a lot of credits for your time, it also just is an unbalanced mess. So please, actually, I changed my mind, stay away from Ace Arena. Don't play Ace Arena. So then, at the end of the video, is Mechabreak worth your time? I think that Verge is really fun, and if you're someone who is able to ignore the other factors like the monetization, Ace Arena mode, and stuff like that, and put that away from your mind, you will enjoy this game a lot. This game has a lot of potential to be something that you and your friends play casually a couple times weekly, do your challenges, etc., whatever, and just have fun with that. And I think that is the optimum game cycle that you can go through with this game. Lots of Verge, a little bit of Mechabreak, do your weekly challenges, and come back the next week to do it again. Especially Seisonshire that had a bigger concern was creating a new community with this experimental type of game, because there is, again, nothing like this on the market, right? Overwatch and all those 66 shooters are not the same as Mechabreak. Mechabreak feels, when you're playing it, completely different than a lot of those other games. Yes, there are classes, yes, it's the 66, but those are where the commonalities lie, and the core gameplay is so good, but so experimental, and people aren't used to it. So when people aren't used to something, you have to ease them into it. You can't slap them in the face with a $48 cosmetic. You can't slap them in the face with the marketplace. You have to create a new community out of this. And there's still a chance to. There's still a chance to turn things back around. And unfortunately, we live in a society where immediate return on investment is very important. So that's probably why they added those monetization schemes inside. So yeah, Mechabreak is worth my time. I really genuinely enjoy 66 mode. I have had a lot of fun playing with people, and it is a good time. And I'm going to be returning week after week to see if they can improve everything for the future. There is a question though that you have to ask yourself. Is Mechabreak worth your time? I've laid out all the facts, I've explained my reasoning, but only you can really decide if you want to play and invest your time in this game. And I hope that answer is yes. I hope Seison can make your answer yes. And that's it for the video. Thank you all for stopping by. Please get some water, touch some grass. I'm going to be continue to play this game and make videos and stuff about it. So if you want to stick around and hang out, join my Discord server. We can talk about all the points I made in this video, if you disagree or agree or whatever. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Ciao.